Hey everyone, this is Kelly here. This video is going to be a little different than my previous speed draws. I wanted to use this prompt as an opportunity to help you guys get to know me, and what better way than to ask how my friends and family see me through characters. The first character I was recommended was by a childhood friend of mine. They suggested Kirei Gakure from Blue Exorcist. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. An anime I've watched maybe 1.5 episodes of, and I am super sorry if I let my friend down. From what I've found while looking into the character is that she's definitely a fighter. She stands up for her friends, and of course I'm sure the dual hair colors had an influence on their choice. Unfortunately, I was unaware of the time-lapse update in Clip Studio until after I started the line art. I really do love how she came out. The way the animators colored the eyes really stood out to me, and I really loved getting to work with the style. I had to skip the third suggestion to save time while I tried to think of a way to address the second character, which I'll explain shortly. The Legend of Korra series was such a good sequel to the Avatar: The Last Airbender books. I will fight anyone about this. Stop letting your nostalgia ruin your ability to enjoy new things. But I digress. Korra was suggested to me by a friend of mine I'd made through art school and D&D campaigns. I think my tendency to get a little overexcited about my passions and my more aggressive nature was called out with this character choice. She is such a strong and brave feminine figure in animation, so being compared to her was a huge honor. Getting to work with the Legend of Korra art style was definitely a challenge, but it gave me a chance to actually work on things that I'm weak at, which is rocks. I'm not good with gravel and dirt, so it was nice to actually get that kind of exercise in, so thank you, Susie, for the recommendation. Jumping back to the second character, I was recommended Johnny from Karate Kid. My uncle was the one who suggested this character, and at first I was kind of offended, not gonna lie, but after ranting to my mother, she explained to me about his backstory from the series I hadn't seen. After learning why he held so much animosity towards the main character due to getting his girlfriend taken from him, he definitely called out my pettier side. I do get angry quickly, which I've been working on, so don't think I'm just okay with it. I also think the main tie he was going for with the suggestion was my martial arts history. I trained for 12 years, have a second-degree black belt and a teaching certificate, so karate has always been a huge part of my identity, so it had to be reflected in at least one of these characters. The reason why I had such a difficulty with the character Johnny was because there was no consistent animation style. There was a very short period of time where there was a cartoon, and there was also a bit of a comic series as well that explained the history of the character. So I had to adapt him into my art style from the actor. So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge, but it was a challenge much needed. So thank you for the opportunity. The fourth character was actually given to me by my dad. She is X-23, but she's also known as Wolverine's daughter. I don't know if he was indirectly trying to compare himself to Wolverine, but I see what you did there, Dad. You're not slick. I think one of the reasons my dad picked X-23 for me was to relate to my relationship with him, which is a huge part of my identity. Sorry, Mom, you didn't make a suggestion, but to be fair, I look exactly like you, so there's no doubt I'm your daughter. Back on track. My dad has always made sure I was as ready for the dangers of the world as I could be, from being a sharpshooter, a fighter, down to teaching me how not to drown if I was tied up and kidnapped. My childhood was interesting, to say the least. She was a challenge to draw because I'm used to making girls so soft. They still tend to be fighters, and I'm trying to get better at diversity, but I still got a long way to go. Oh boy, I was excited for this one. My baby, my homegirl, my birthstone. How did they capture this nerdy little spitfire of a February baby in one character? Another friend from my hometown put this character into the mix, and I kid you not, I was so freaking happy, and here's why. She has the personality of a fighter. She's my freaking birthstone. She's heckin' short, and as someone who's 5'0" that fought their way to get respect despite their size and gender, this character has always hit home for me. I added a little shading to keep her from getting overpowered by the presence of the other characters on the list. She was also a lot easier to draw, which was a nice change of pace and a break from the other more intense character styles. Okay, so I was hype about getting Amethyst, but to get my favorite Disney princess too, shut up, she is, fight me. Mulan was a huge inspiration to me as a little girl learning karate. The person who suggested her was a friend of my mom's from high school. She actually pointed out why she picked Mulan, and it had to do with my natural desire to protect those around me. This hit home because I've always seen myself learning how to fight as not only something to protect myself, but to provide a safe person for my friends to run to if they needed it. I noticed a lack of shading in the Disney movie, which confused me at first until I realized they color their line art in their animation. No wonder they didn't shade. That was so time consuming. I tend to use black line art due to pure laziness. This was definitely a challenge I needed to face. And with that, there are the 6 characters that reminded people of myself. I hope this shined a little light on who I am as a person. The biggest trend is the fighter spirit, along with the being extremely independent / self-reliant. I had fun drawing all of them, and I got so much love and support with every update I made on my different media while I worked on this. If you want to check any of my platforms out, you can find them in the description below. Thank you for all your support. I want to give this channel more love. The goal is to get at least 1,000 subscribers so I can apply to work for other animators and artists here on YouTube. And don't forget, I love you all and have a wonderful day or night, depending on where you are.